Oh yeah, I can do the recording. Can already.
Then you do it, huh? You will
Yeah,
do
then
it, right?
I do it.
Okay.
Let me see. We wait until let's say 3:35 to 3:40 lah. Is it okay?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, hold on first. I sent some reminders to my.
Really? As a host.
Oh, what? I know what because she's working. She can see us, we cannot see her.
She told you.
Yeah, you see, she can see us because it's a webinar. It's not a Zoom meeting. So these people can appear. They have to do something. Yeah, we talk.
Oh, you can see us, but you cannot talk.
They can actually type lah. Let me see
Okay.
Because this is webinar so will be a bit different from the Zoom meeting. This is a webinar meeting, so it's a bit different. Let me check again. Hey, Dr. Anand, I think I can't hear you already. Oh, you put mute. Okay, I see. Sharon also put mute. It's okay, it's okay.
I not muted.
Okay, it's okay. Maybe we start at 3:40 lah. Is it okay?
Yeah, sure, no problem. So Sharon, you put on the slides, I will explain.
Oh yeah, maybe Sharon can get ready also.
Sharon.
Okay. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Very clearly. So who is based in JB? Yvonne, is it? Yvonne is based in JB.
Yvonne is a lawyer in my legal firm in JB.
In
But
JB.
she can also help to meet people. And then the processing is done in KL.
Or done in KL, right? Because
Processing done in KL because submission is in KL.
Where is the branch? The JB branch is at where?
Putrajaya.
Oh, Putrajaya. Okay, understand. So if we need any help, then we can actually either look for you guys or actually look for Yvonne. Is okay lah, huh?
Yeah, either one.
You
can find me in my office, or you can't find Sharon, you can look for Michelle.
Ah, okay. No problem.
She's expert already. You also expert, right?
No lah. MM2H. Sometimes I can tell you when some client ask me, I can tell you, suddenly I don't know how to answer that. Then I think. I will tell them, you know lah, government always change policy. I answer back later. Really, sometimes you cannot commit because especially we are agents, ma. If we commit, we are dead, you know.
We got 38 of them joining us already. 38. Yeah. So later, Lioli, you do an introductions first. Then we are about to start. Yeah.
Right now, what time?
3:37. 3 minutes time. We will start in 3 minutes time.
Okay, sure, no problem. So, Mr. Anand and Sharon, have you guys been in very frequent go to JB or not?
I come to JB every 2-3 months.
Every 2-3 months lah. How about Sharon leh?
Sharon, no.
Oh, so after this MCO and our circuit breaker, we will meet in Johor. We have some
no problem.
Dinner or lunch together.
Yeah, no issue.
Yeah, a lot of things to learn from you guys. You guys experience.
This Friday also I'm in JB.
Oh, this Friday you going JB?
Yeah.
Business purpose lah.
Yep.
But okay lah, right now, I feel that Malaysia MCO is doing pretty well.
Yeah lah, it's not too bad lah, because yesterday I think only 3 cases only.
And actually Johor maintained 0, right? These few days, if I'm not wrong. I didn't really follow every day lah, but I know that Johor is doing very good. Control very well.
Johor is good, yes.
That's why both government they are quite okay to reopen the causeway.
Yeah.
Hopefully lah, I really hope that they can actually open by end of this month. If not, then early next month.
Should be lah. The golf course in Garden City open already.
Yeah, our golf course open already. Actually, I'm quite surprised quite crowded in the golf range. Because our colleague also go there and play. So sometimes they actually took some video and took some photo. I'm actually quite surprised. Quite crowded.
Right.
Quite crowded. I think they actually opened since last 2 weeks ago. I can't really recall. Yeah, I think either last 2 weeks or last week. But quite a number of people actually went to there and play already. And at the moment we have promotion for hotels also. $180 ringgit. It's a 5-star hotel. It's a 5-star hotel.
So this Saturday morning I want to play golf. There you can get me a flight lah.
You can arrange actually. I try to arrange for you. You want to play, this coming Saturday?
Saturday morning, yeah.
Let me try to arrange for you. Then I keep you updated.
Okay.
Right now we have 53 participants already. Andrew, 现在几点了哈？
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We need to start now. Okay.
Okay. Then we shall.
We let Lioli to do an introductions. about today our guest.
Okay, so I start now. All right, thank you everybody for joining this webinar. Okay, we actually invited our very professional MM2H speaker. Actually, they are actually from Able
Able migration.
Migrations MM2H Setia Berhad. Okay, we have actually Dato' Anand and Sharon over here to actually later present about MM2H. Okay, also thanks for your coming in. Especially I also invited some of my foreign partners like Indonesian partners. I saw some of my Indonesian partners already. Thank you for coming in, joining in. And some of my Chinese partners also. 谢谢你们的那个到来。如果以下你们有问题的话，你们可以直接打华语字发在那个问题上。我们懂的话，我们就会回复你。Okay. So right now we don't waste our time. We can actually start doing the presentation. Okay. Sorry. Before that, important. Right now, as we are the agent selling Malaysia, there will be a lot of customer asking you about MM2H1. I have a lot of customers sometimes ask me about MM2H. And frankly speaking, although I've worked in Iskandar for 7 years, I do not know exactly very good on the, I mean that sometimes I can't answer also. Sometimes I need to go back and think and then I will reply the customer. So today, if you guys got any question or regarding any updates, Sharon and Dr. Anand will actually explain everything about MM2H. So later, feel free to ask any question if you need to. All right. So we don't waste the time really. So right now, I invite Dr. Anand and Sharon to introduce about the MM2H. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi everybody. My name is Dato' Anand. I have with me my two colleagues. One is Sharon. The other one is Michelle. Who can answer the questions in Mandarin. I hope all of you can understand English. MM2H is a Malaysian government program meant to help people who wish to live in Malaysia by giving them a 10-year visa. So what happens is basically you will get a 10-year visa once your application is approved and it depends on the validity of your passport. So if you have a validity of your passport for 4 years, and then you go and get another passport, they will transfer from this passport to the next passport because your approval is actually for 10 years. And in that 10 years, you can live in Malaysia and you don't want to leave the country, it's up to you. Or you want to go in and out as many times as you like, it's also up to you because you will be treated as an MM2H resident. And in fact, as you enter the airport, certainly in KLIA, because KLIA, JB, there may not be a special line, but in KLIA, they have actually got a special line for MM2H approved visa holders sign up and come inside. So you find that then there is no need to apply for visa or paying any kind of visa fees for the entire duration of the 10 years. Okay, basically, show the next slide, Sharon. Okay, if you ask a lot of foreigners, of course, I'm sure some of the people from Singapore will disagree. Okay, if you ask me, one of the best places to retire to or live is actually Malaysia. So if you take like Johor, Baru, or you take KL or Penang, you find that there are many interesting places. Your homes that you buy compared to the prices in Singapore or in China, or for that matter, even in Jakarta, are so much cheaper. So in fact, ours is very, very affordable housing that you can get. And an MM2H approved person, you can buy these homes and have it registered in your names. And the other big advantage is you do not have to pay inheritance tax. So if something happens to you, you don't have, there is no inheritance tax. Your children can take over the properties. The other advantage, obviously, here living in Malaysia is, other than the cost of living is very reasonable, is the infrastructure is very good. So for most places, yes, you'll get some jam, some traffic jams and all that. But like in JB and KL, it's Penang, it is not that bad like you see in Jakarta sometimes, or you see in Bangkok. Now, of course, with the overhead roads in Bangkok, Bangkok too is not too bad. So in that sense, traffic is pretty good. And then the other important thing is, especially for the older ones, as we grow older, it is so important that we have good medical facilities. Our hospitals, both government and private, especially the private hospitals, are world-class standard. So you can get any kind of ailment that you have treated, and the advantage is the fact that you can see a specialist immediately. Like I have a lot of friends who live in Australia, they want to see a specialist. First, they have to see a GP, make appointment. Maybe if they're lucky, in 6 months' time, they can go and get to see a specialist. So if you want to do elective surgery, you wait 6 months to 9 months to a year, depending on what elective surgery that you want to do. If you are sick, of course, even there, you know, if you have a heart attack, of course, you will be admitted to the hospital straight away. Here, you can see a specialist, one specialist or two specialists in one day, depending on you. So you see one specialist, you want to get a second opinion, you just go to the next private hospital and you make an appointment and you can see two specialists in one day. And the cost is very, very minimal. Even compared to Singapore, the cost of medical expenses in Malaysia is very, very minimal. Okay? Climate-wise, as we all know, I think if you're all from this region of Asia, we only have two climates. Either it rains or it's sunshine. And here you don't get extreme high temperatures, and obviously you also don't get cold temperatures now. The only slight problem is the issue of humidity, but then again, we are all used to it. The other thing about Malaysia is, you know, it provides you a variety of different types of food of very high standard. So you can get fantastic Cantonese food, you know, and you can even get Chinese food from Sichuan, from Teochew, from other places of China as well, because they are specialty restaurants catering for this. And then, of course, you can get Indian food from all over both North India and South India. You get Malay food, you get Nyonya food, which is a mixture of Chinese and Dutch food. So in terms of food, you can get it everywhere. We have food or hawker, of course now during COVID times, you have many hawker centers that sells you food very cheaply, which is also very tasty. Sporting wise, okay, it's pretty open country. Population here is not as densely populated like you take India or China or Hong Kong. So in that sense, there are lots of open spaces for those who want to play golf, who want to play badminton, who want to play tennis. There are plenty of facilities everywhere, either in private clubs or government-owned clubs as well. The other interesting thing is this: together with this MM2H, if you bring your wife and you bring your children, you will find we have very good educational system. A lot of the students can either go to, if you are minded for your child to have a purely Chinese education, there are numerous Chinese schools which are about the best in the country, and you can send them there. Or alternatively, you have all the main important international schools. So you have schools here, like for instance, in Johor Bahru, you have Marlborough College, which is one of the top colleges even in the UK. So you find most of the rich people in the UK either want to send their children to Marlborough College or Eton or one of those. So it's in that one of the top 10 schools. They have a full service for full schools, that means from primary all the way to secondary in Johor. It's the same sense. you have colleges from Raffles, and you have colleges, a lot of other colleges in Johor, which offers a very wide international curriculum. So you can even choose American system, you can choose Canadian system, you can choose British system. In KL, everything is possible, including Japanese schools. So even for Japanese, they can send their children to a pure Japanese schools, which teaches them Japanese and follows the Japanese curriculum. So in that sense, you got a lot of very, very good schools. Okay, so overall, basically, as people grow older, you want to make sure your children are taken care of. So in that sense, education is well taken care of. For the older people, where health becomes an important issue, there are very good hospitals, hospitals that I've already told you. So in that sense, this is a really great place to retire, especially when you want to save costs, because you can also get, with an MM2H, you are entitled to hire maids. So here we hire the maids from either, most of the time, it's usually from Indonesia or the Philippines. Some come from Sri Lanka, but most of the time you can hire from anywhere. And the cost is very, very affordable. So as MM2H resident, you are entitled to that as well. Sharon, the next one. For those parents, I've already said, who want to send children to international schools, you can come here, stay here, and send your children to international schools. You buy your properties which you own in your own name, and you can live there, and you can send the kids across. Basically, if you take location-wise, Malaysia is quite ideally situated in the sense that Singapore is just a short drive. From Johor Bahru, in fact, it's a very, very short drive. From KL, it's only like 2.5 hours, 3 hours, depending on the traffic. Penang is very close from KL. You find Thailand is 1 hour plus, 2 hours away. All the ASEAN countries in this region are less than 3 hours away. So geographically, we are very well located. Australia is within 4 hours to Perth, 4.5 hours to Perth, to maybe 8 hours to Sydney. So it's also very close. The whole of Europe is within 10.5 hours, and London is maybe about 13 hours. So in that sense, everything is quite accessible from where we are geographically located. And it's a convenient place. So when it comes for holiday time and you want to travel anywhere, so you find you just hop on a plane, either from KL, and find your way across the world, or you can even go to Singapore, and Singapore is so well connected anyway. The other important thing is, in terms of, for educational purposes, you will find that we have got very good Wi-Fi networks. So our broadband is very fast. So, and it's at a very, very reasonable cost. So you find that, you don't, in terms of going forward, in terms of electronics and in terms of education through the web, through the net and everything else, you have all the facilities, okay? And those people who want to use this as a base, well, you can run your business anywhere, whether you are in China or whether you are in Indonesia or wherever else, you can run your business. Family can stay here. You can come in and out. Senai Airport is where Johor Bahru is well connected, and KL, of course, is very well connected to most of the countries I've said earlier. Okay, and cost of homes are very reasonable, as I also mentioned earlier. On the next one, Sharon. Okay, when you stay here, even when you live here, and you become a taxi, most countries, like for instance, if you take Australia, UK, Australia, UK, US, Canada, Switzerland, a number of these countries all around us practice what is called worldwide taxation. Worldwide taxation means wherever you stay, if I am now a resident in London, but I run a business in KL and I have a business or rental income from Australia, if I'm a tax resident in the UK, I disclose not only all my tax or income in UK, I have to include my tax in my tax the income from Australia, from Malaysia, from everywhere else, and I am taxed at that rate that they charge me. They will give me a discount for the tax that I have paid locally for whatever income I've earned. In Malaysia, we don't practice worldwide taxation. We only practice local taxation. What it means is this. Like for me as a classic example, I earn an income in Malaysia. On all my income I earn in Malaysia, I pay tax. All my income I earn in Australia or in the UK, I do not pay Malaysian tax. All I do is I pay the local tax in Australia for the Australian income, and I pay the local tax in UK for the UK income. So if I become a tax resident in the UK, like for instance, the highest rate of tax in Malaysia is 28%. Only for those earning more than 2 million is 30%. So if you earn less than 2 million, then obviously it goes on a graduated scale. So it's maybe from 6% onwards. So you find you only pay that. In Australia, you earn about 150,000 Australian, you're already at the maximum tax bracket of 55% almost, 50 to 55%. So you find the tax rates here are much reasonable. Of course, in Singapore, it's much, much cheaper than this. Or Hong Kong is even cheaper. But the important thing to realize is on a worldwide basis, our tax rates here are not very high. So in that sense, it's a great place to stay because you don't pay tax on your overseas income earned overseas, even if you bring the money into Malaysia. Okay? Next one, Sharon. Okay, what's the procedure to apply for our MM2H application? Very simple. You use Able Migration, they help you throughout the way. So far, our success rate 100% because we check all the documents very carefully before we submit. That's why none of our cases, we have not managed to get a visa. So, important thing is very, very easy financial requirement for MM2H. You satisfy the financial requirement. You then submit the application with all your documents. Once you have submitted all the documents, government will acknowledge receipt. They go through the documents. If there's anything short or they want clarification, they will write to us. We will then clarify and provide them additional documents. Then they will give the approval letter. Once you got the approval letter, only then you need to come to Malaysia to do 3 things. One, you open an FD account. That's a fixed deposit account to put a fixed deposit. Next, you have to purchase medical insurance, which is very easy because all the insurance companies here sell medical insurance. Then you do a medical, which is a basic medical report. Once you have submitted this back, you will then get your final approval. With the final approval, you bring your passport, go to the Home Office, and then they will stamp and provide you with a 10-year visa. So, documentation-wise, not very difficult. So what are the documents you need? Okay, first one, Sharon, one more. Okay, first one, what are the financial requirements first, okay? For those who are above 50 years, all you need to show is you have liquid assets of only 350,000 ringgit and you have a monthly income, whether it's a pension or whatever income from whichever source of 10,000 ringgit a month. So when you look at it, 350,000 ringgit is only about 80,000 US dollars, which is nothing. Now, to apply for permanent residence in Australia, I think you need 2 million Aussie dollars. For those high net worth individuals who want a shorter period, they have to produce 5 million Aussie dollars. 5 million Aussie dollars is equivalent to about 15 million ringgit. 2 million is times 3, so roughly 6 million ringgit. Singapore, for foreigners now to apply to be permanent residents, first and foremost, last time they used to give you full permanent residency. Now they only give you up to 5 years, subject to renewal. And unless you are there with the work visa or whatever that entitles you to that, if you are applying under business migration type, you need something like 10 million Sing to be able to apply. So if I want to apply now, unless I go and get a job as a lawyer in Singapore, in Malaysia, able migration is part of a legal firm, so we are all lawyers as well. So Sharon manages the company. Michelle is a lawyer. The other person who does MM2H in JB is Yvonne. She's also a lawyer. So if we want to go to Singapore, unless we get a professional pass, I got to come up with 10 million Sing before I can get permanent residency. For those below 50 years old, you just need to show that you have only 500,000 ringgit, which is about 120,000 US, and then you have the monthly income of 10,000 ringgit. That's the only financial requirement to show proof when you make the application. So that one, you don't have to take out your cash yet. You just show that that's the first step where you just show your financial resources. Okay, what other documents do you need? Sharon. Sharon. Next slide, Sharon. Okay. There's going to be a letter of application by the applicant, which we will have to do. A resume of mainly of the main applicant. So if the husband is the main applicant or the wife is the main applicant, a resume from her. The MM2H application form, we will get it for you, provide you with it, and help you fill it up. We will need 4 colored passport size photographs, a copy of your whole passport, a letter of good conduct from your government, which most governments are used to issuing, so it's not very difficult to get. If you are married, a certified copy of your marriage certificate. That is, if you are bringing your spouse, if you are bringing your children, then you need birth certificates. In case for those who are bringing the parents, then you also need the birth certificate to show they are your parents. And then certified copies of your latest 3-month bank statement or any other financial documents you have. So like bank statements, you can also bring a statement from your broker, or you have a broking account with a lot of shares and stocks. So you can say, okay, you can show that as well. And then certified copies of your latest 3 months pay slip and income statement. This one, they mainly look at it to satisfy themselves. You meet the financial requirement of being able to pay 10,000 ringgit a month. You have an income of 10,000 ringgit a month. So it's not very difficult, maybe a little tedious, but we will help you get through this. Once we then submit all these documents, the government will go through. Those days when there were not that many applications, it was quite fast. Now there are a lot more applications. Of course, COVID has slowed everything down. So now, to tell you honestly, it could take anything within 3 months to 9 months to get the conditional approval letter. Okay. Once you get the conditional approval letter, then you have to come to Malaysia to get their visa endorsement within 6 months of the approval letter. And you must then open a fixed deposit account for the main applicant only. So if your husband is the applicant, wife and children, husband comes and opens the account, purchase medical insurance for all the 4, if they are one husband, wife, and 3 kids, so for 5 people, then you get a medical report for all 5. Okay, those are the only documents then you submit. So opening of fixed deposit account, even though you show that you have assets of 350,000 for those above 50 years old, you only need to put a fixed deposit of Malaysian ringgit, not US dollars, of 150,000 in a fixed deposit account. And after 1 year, you can even withdraw 50,000 from that account for expenses such as house purchase, education fees, medical fees. So if you purchase a house and you want to just take out the 50,000, you can, for those above 50 years old. Those under 50 years old, you need to put a fixed deposit of only 300,000 ringgit. But after 1 year, you can already withdraw half of that amount of 150,000 to buy a property or to pay for your children's education or for medical fees. Okay? Next one, Sharon. So final thing is, once you have done these fixed deposits and you got all your medical reports and the medical insurance, we then proceed. They'll give you the letter. We go to the immigration department and get the stamp for your 10-year Malaysia, my second home visa. And that ends the process. After that, you come and go like a permanent resident here and or stay here for 10 years without going anywhere. So it's actually very convenient, extremely affordable for most people. So, and now it's only a question of time because it just takes 6 months to 9 months. We have done quite a lot of these applications, and like I said, so far we have had no issue, because when we look at the documents, we are experienced enough. Before the government reject, we can tell you these are the problems in the documents. Okay, I'm happy to take any questions. That ends the official presentation, but anyone has any questions, we will be happy to answer.
Okay, thank you, Dato' Anand, for the presentation. It's very useful, especially for us agent, because as you know, we are not very familiar on the MM2H. So right now, you guys have any question, please actually can post on the Q&A. Okay, actually right now I have a question because I came from my colleague. Okay, my colleague was asking one question. His customer actually applied twice already for the MM2H. Income is no issue, but maybe the occupation is an issue. So he actually applied twice already and was being rejected. All right, the business is actually doing massage. So my friend is asking, because right now 2 times apply already and it's failed. So is it possible?
Business is what?
The successful rate, yes. Is it still lesser or higher?
No, what was his business?
He's doing massage.
Oh, massage business. Massage business, I don't know. You know, these fellas are sensitive about massage business as to what. But he's doing the massage business somewhere else, right?
In Singapore, I think it's a legal one, because once we talk about business in Singapore, should be okay. But
okay.
But actually,
so I'm a bit surprised. But did he do it on his own or did he use the agent?
I think he actually right now. I'm not sure whether I asked my colleague to post on the group and then we'll check. Okay.
There's one question coming in. Yuri, have you finished? There's one question coming in.
You can actually check the question first. I'm actually testing my friend.
Yeah. Okay, can MM2H holder run small business in Malaysia? This is the question in the chat.
Okay, technically speaking, the visa doesn't entitle you to a license to run a business. So they may have to do it using a nominee, because this is not a visa, it's not a work visa. It's basically a residence visa for you to live in Malaysia. So if you want to run a business, I'm sure you can. So you just enter into an agreement with a Malaysian person and then do the business.
Dr. Anna, I believe that a foreigner can set up 100% foreigner ownership company in Malaysia. So a lot of my China buyer got their MM2H. Actually, they're running a lot of business. Not only restaurant business, trading company, factory, and a lot of business that they set up in Malaysia without any issue. So can you explain that?
Okay. What if you look at the visa guidelines? The visa guidelines will tell you you're not supposed to be working. But a lot of people come here, you're absolutely right. You can set up a completely foreign-owned company. Okay, the only restriction is with regards to getting bank loans, because banks generally are very reluctant to lend to companies which are foreign control. But other than that, if you have your own funding, there's nothing to stop you from setting up the business and running the business.
Actually, they can set up their business, but just that what they limit is they cannot run the business actively. This is what they mentioned, but it's very difficult to define actively. So it depends on how you define the terms of actively. So you must be like very pandai lah. Maybe I mean your position in the company, so maybe you cannot like every month take a salary, a fixed salary, something like that.
So there is what you mean they can just take director fee. So this is not the salary.
Yeah. So what they
but
can do
this
is
one, of course, have to consult those professional company secretariat.
No, what you can also do is set up the company. You can have a lot of employees who are running the company. Then basically your income, you dividend out your income.
Yes.
You take it out as a dividend from the company, so no issue.
Okay, I got one question. Maybe this question is quite able to boost the morale for the agents here. Okay, seems Mahathir actually he did mention one thing. He said that he want to actually stop MM2H for foreigner. So I believe that a lot of agents have this curious about from Mahathir saying that words until now, what is the rate of actually the MM2H being approved? Yeah, Mr.
Okay, from what I can see or what I know, when Mahathir took office immediately, one of the things that he complained about is foreign purchases of a lot of properties in Forest City in Johor. Okay, part of the reason, obviously, at that point in time is because he and the Sultan of Johor do not get along. And then he made a stupid remark about, where foreigners won't be allowed to work. I mean, not foreigners will not be allowed to come in and simply buy properties and all that. But he then retracted it later. And basically, as far as MM2H is concerned, he actually never said anything about MM2H. So MM2H, even during that time when he was still the Prime Minister for the 2 years, now of course he's no more Prime Minister, but for the 2 years when he was there, MM2H was still approved. We have a number of mostly Chinese foreign nationals who had applied and who have got the visas.
Yes,
the government policy is still in support of MM2H. They have not changed anything. They have tweaked the rules a little bit, but that's about it. But otherwise, no problem.
Yes, you are right. Recently, I got my buyers approved. They purchased a property in Forest City. So there is no problem for them to receive their MM2H status. Most of them got their MM2H approved. So don't worry about this. As long as you can fulfill all the requirements, I believe all these applicants they will be able to get their MM2H.
Yes, that is correct. And actually, the requirements are not so hard to fulfill.
So, Mr. Anand and Sharon, so right now at the moment, who is actually the percentage? Which top 3 countries actually hold MM2H the most at the moment? Top 3.
I think China is probably the highest. Probably followed by
Japanese, Korean also.
Sorry, so first one is China, and then followed by
Japanese and Korean. The
Japanese
Koreans,
and
the Koreans love Sabah, you know. So a lot of applications in Sabah from Koreans.
I see, I see. Thanks for the info. Okay. Hang on,
Japanese, you get, Japanese, you get, Japanese, you get, what do you get? You get in KL as well as JB also. I saw a question just now asking whether a MM2H holder can go to a local hospital. You can go to a local hospital. You will be treated in the local hospital. You may not pay the same cheap fees that we pay, but it'll still be very, very much cheaper than going to a government hospital. So if you have a heart problem and you turn up in IJN, you will get treated. IJN is the Institute Jantung Negara, which is the heart center in KL. You will get treated, but you will be treated not as a civil servant who pay nothing, but you'll be treated as a paying patient, but you will be treated. So if somebody has got an acute appendicitis and the appendix has got to be removed, you can go to the government hospital. They will still operate and remove the appendix.
Sean was actually asking, do you have the example of rate? This is what actually.
What rate? Exchange rate or what rate?
I think maybe he was saying that MM2H, compare.
Is it success rate? Like I said, success rate for us so far, touchwood, has been 100%. Simply because we are very particular about vetting all the documents and make sure they all comply before we submit. If we simply submit everything given to us, then of course I can't claim the 100%. But so far we have. So I do not know about what are the success rate for other agents. Touchwood, so far we have been very lucky that we have not had any rejection.
Actually, this is not a question actually Sean is asking. He's actually asking on the hospital fee because compared to MM2H and the local people or foreigners, is there any example for the rate of the fee?
Oh, the rate fee charged in the hospital. That I don't, I honestly, I do not know, but all I can tell you is it's very, very reasonable. Because, to give you an example of what so that you have a basis to compare. For instance, you want to do, you need to put a couple of stents. You have a heart problem, and they say, okay, we need to put 2 stents for you. You go to Singapore, it'll probably cost you about 20 to 25,000 Sing. In a top private hospital in Malaysia, it could probably cost you about 30,000 ringgit. If you go to IJN, it probably, on the private side, it may cost you maybe 20,000 ringgit. If you go to another heart center, which they have set up in the UKM, in Serdang, it may cost you 15,000 or thereabouts. So that's what it costs. So most operations in government hospitals, it can be anything. Okay, like for instance, now one of my friends has got had kidney cancer. So to remove the kidney, you go to a private hospital in Malaysia. They will tell you, okay, if they open surgery, 40,000. They do pinhole surgery, 50,000. They do robotic surgery, 60,000 ringgit. In Singapore, you can probably times that by 2. Not 3, but by 2. That's a difference in the cost. Government hospitals will be roughly 1/3 of all of that. And you can go to insurance companies, you can buy hospitalization policies as well. So it doesn't matter whether you're a foreigner, you can buy hospitalization policies to cover your hospitalization costs.
Okay, thanks for the answer. Okay, there is some question come from, Ken was asking this question, but I'm not sure whether I don't think this is actually from MM2H lah. He's asking that the automatic clearance system was discontinued. Send a message to Singaporeans that they are not welcome. Okay, but this one Andrew, you got a better answer for this?
No, all the while we will welcome, because JB economy always depend on the Singaporeans, the spending of the Singaporeans. So this is not true. Of course, we will welcome all the people come to Johor. So it might be other issue for this, might be security issues that concerns, then the discontinues this.
Maybe can this one, if you want this answer, maybe you personally text me lah, because I have this answer actually. You can actually privately ask me this question. So I come to next question. Alvin was asking, if one spouse is Malaysian and other is a foreigner, would you still advise the spouse who is a foreigner to apply for MM2H?
It's a faster way.
Sorry?
As a spouse, you can go and get a spousal visa. But the problem with the spousal visa is you keep having to renew it every year. I do not know how frequently, but I suspect it's every year. Whereas in MM2H, once you take it, the cost is very minimal. You can keep it for 10 years. You don't have to go and see any immigration officer for 10 years.
Spouse visa, I think is 6 months or minimum 6 months, maximum of 5 years only. So that means you have to renew it frequently. If let's say you only can get the 6 months visa.
You see, somebody asked a question whether for parents above 60, can they tag along with the principal MM2H holder? What will have to happen is, because they are once you're above 21 years old, I think you have to be your own principal applicant. Sharon, can
Yes.
parents tag on?
Above 60 years old, parent has dependent.
Tag along, yeah, tag along.
Can. But parents visa is only 6 months visa. That means every 6 months you have to renew it.
Yeah.
But if parents can show their financial means on their own, then they should just apply for MM2H themselves.
Yeah, that means a separate application now.
Visa.
As a main applicant.
Yeah.
Okay, then I continue next question. Which happened first, purchase of Forest City or MM2H application? What if purchase made with a future settling idea but visa get rejected? So his question was actually which one come first lah? Okay, basically some of the if this kind of question comes to some, maybe he's targeting like China customer. So is it to get MM2H safer first, or to get a property first? We don't talk about Forest City or whichever it is. Either we are talking about MM2H first or the project coming first. Yeah, this is his question.
You see,
Okay, Dr. Anna, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, this is depend. If you really need a visa, you really need to stay in Malaysia. So for safe, then you better get your MM2H approved first. If not, then if an agent asks you or you buy the property, then you will get a visa. This is not true. It's not necessarily 100% that you can get MM2H. If you cannot get, you purchase a house, so how? You cannot stay. So if you really want to stay in Malaysia, so I suggest you to get your MM2H approved first, then you can select whatever property that you want. Then you can settle down in Malaysia without any issue. Yeah, Dr. Anna, you got anything want to say for
No,
this
that's absolutely right, because one is separate from the other. You buy the property because you want to stay. So if you feel that you want to stay long term, then you apply for MM2H.
Yes, yes, that's right.
But if you, even before, you see, the property takes 3 years to complete. MM2H now takes within 6 months to 9 months. So you can buy the property, then you can also apply at the same time for the MM2H. So the MM2H will be ready before your property is ready. But if you're going to use the property to say, I will say, don't apply for the MM2H until it's about 1 year to completion, then you apply, so you save the 10 years. Unless, of course, you want to come here and stay, doesn't matter whether you're renting, then apply for MM2H straight away.
Depends.
It depends on whatever the buyer wants to do.
Yeah, agree. Okay, so we come to the next question. Okay, next question, actually, Colin was asking, after the 10 years, auto extension, another 10 years to have to apply for the extension. Yeah, actually, the answer is yes. You need to apply for the next extension, right?
Yes, have to.
But it will be based on the new regulation already, if I'm not wrong to say. If during that period, there's a new regulation, so he need to base on the new regulation to do extension.
Yes.
Okay, so
but
this
then,
one,
of course, the documentation wise is not so complicated as a new application.
And then for renewing case, because he actually approved already, so doing renewing case is actually more easier for them, right? I assume.
Yes. Yeah, you just need to show that the FD is still in the account, in the bank, and also the monthly income of the 10,000 ringgit Malaysia. They just want to make sure that you're still having the income.
Okay, Ken, thank you. And now I see, is there any question coming in? Let me see, Sam. Let me see from the group.
There's one question.
Buyer apply MM2H on their own. Of course, they can apply on their own, but then because now actually, if you want to go to immigration to do the endorsement, you have to, we agent, of course, everyone have to go there to queue up for the number. So you have to queue up since very early in the morning, maybe like 5 o'clock in the morning. So if, let's say, client, they don't mind, of course, they can apply on their own. So everything they want to contact directly to the government officer is quite a difficult difficult matter. So it just depends on whether they want to be so troublesome or not.
Yeah, it is not easy. Then also, if you apply yourself, you still need a local sponsor, right?
Yes.
If you're not able to, find a local sponsor, you go and to apply yourself, then you start somewhere because you can't get a local sponsor. So you make yourself more difficult.
Yeah, if let's say you appoint agent to apply for you, then automatically we as an agent automatically will be your sponsor already.
Yeah, that's right. You save a lot of time.
Yes.
Actually, okay, next question is stated number 4. Sean is asking one question. How to withdraw the 50K, 150K after a year? If the property is fully paid, can still withdraw? What's the document needed? Actually, this is also
your SMP and your payment receipt. It's based on the reimbursement basis. It means you have to show that you have already paid that sum. If let's say you only paid 40,000, then you can only withdraw 40,000. So if let's say you want to withdraw is for house purchase purposes, sure, easily you will get the 150,000. So you must show that you already paid up to that sum, and to show the SMP is under your name. That means the property is under your name.
Oh, which means actually we pay first. We pay first, then after that we show them the proof. Then they will refund. They will actually top up back the sum to us.
Yes, like reimbursement basis.
Okay.
Yes.
Understand. Wow, this question actually very good. Okay, is there any question coming in?
No. I haven't finished. For this, they need to apply themselves, or they need to apply 2 agents.
Agent also.
Okay.
Because you really go to the bank to tell them that this is my S&P, this is my payment receipt, I want to withdraw. The FD actually have to get the approval from the ministry, then only the bank will withdraw for you. So of course also have to apply through agent.
Okay, understand.
You also can do on your own, except you go and queue up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Okay, just now regarding some agent is asking about does the customer able to apply MM2H by themselves? Actually, the answer is yes, but you must always remember, if you let the customer do it by themselves, it's very troublesome. And then for an agent like us, we are actually doing property. We are doing Singapore property. We do not have the time to go and focus to apply for M2H. So you must remember, like, if customer keep asking you how to apply, most of your time you need to handle this M2H. I tell you, you no need to do your sales already. So important, just tell them, ask to agent, because you must understand that all the document must go to KL side one. So don't tell me you want to travel to KL. Impossible for us also. So the best thing, get the professional people to do the job. All right. Even for today, so many questions that we are unable to answer. It's actually done. The answer is actually given by Dato Anand and actually from Michelle, from Sharon. So you must always understand those shit job. Sometimes you really cannot handle one. Always give the professional to handle the job. All right. If
But
not anything
agent cannot.
backfire, remember anything backfire, you cannot answer one. We also cannot answer for that. All right.
And please bear in mind, agent also cannot submit case on behalf of the
Sharon,
purchaser.
your voice is actually a bit far. Cannot hear you.
Okay. Have to bear in mind that the agents actually also cannot submit the application on behalf of the purchaser unless the purchaser want to submit directly to the MM2H center, or else they won't allow. Like maybe you tell, oh, this is my friend, I want to submit on behalf of my friend. No, they are not allowed. This happen.
You have to go through agent.
Yes.
You either do personally or you go through an agent. You can't go through a friend or whoever.
Okay, so Idli is asking, what is the cost for application by able migration? What is the fee for this thing?
We charge 10,000 ringgit Malaysia for a main applicant. Then if spouse, 1,000 ringgit. Then additional, if children want to apply, also 1,000 for each lah.
Okay, so you guys hear that, right? It's 10,000 application, and then top up one is 1,000 ringgit
For additional dependent.
Yeah, important because actually there is some of the fee is actually charging 15,000. I can tell you, I really heard 15,000 charges. They charge Korean people, they charge China people. Sometimes they even charge 20,000. So 10,000, this fee, I can tell you, is very on the market price one. Okay. So is there any question coming in? If not,
I would like to highlight a bit. I have been using their service for many years. It's not just 1 year. Since 2015, they're getting my clients MM2H approved until now. And they are not really bullshit to say that it's a 100% successful rate. That is true. And also, they are a very good and reliable agents, because they are loyal. So they don't simply do things to get your applications approved. So I see some of these agents, MM2H agents, they do things, they go and amend a lot of documents. Even the applicant also do not know what document they submit. So in order to get them approved, they do whatever things that they wanted to do. So it's very dangerous. So if you want a good and reliable agents, please, you can go to them.
Thank you, Andrew.
You're welcome.
okay, so remember, Able Migration actually got 3 branches. 2 is actually located at KL. 1 is located at JB. I believe because we are agent, we are not only selling JB project. We have a lot of project we'll be selling. So KL, if you have any project in KL and need help for your clients to do MM2H, you can actually contact Sharon, Michelle over here, which is the contact number is shown here already. If you need, you can actually do some snapshot. And for JB side, if you need, you actually can contact Yvonne. Yeah, you can contact Yvonne. So for us Singaporeans, actually, I think we agent actually sold more project in JB, I believe so. So please really take note on their contact number. So if you all need, you all can contact them. All right, Able Migration. Okay. So yeah, any questions so far? Let me see. Okay, so right now I think we have cleared all the answer already, their question and everything. Andrew, you have anything to mention?
No.
Okay, Mr. Anand and Sharon, do you have anything you want to actually mention also?
Someone just put up a question now. Which holder returned to Malaysia as COVID card, can they quarantine at home? Yes, they can now. Starting from today, they can all quarantine themselves at home. So they give you a program, just like Hong Kong, where they can check on your whereabouts.
Oh, so they actually they don't need to quarantine in their hotel, is it? Because I know that there are some
Yeah,
particular.
now no more. Starting today.
Starting today. This is also a very good question. Okay, any more question coming in? If not, then we will call it an end for today. Okay, let me see. No more,
Okay.
Andrew, 应该是没有了，是吗 Andrew?
Yeah, there's no question coming in. So thank you everyone.
Thank you everyone for joining this webinar. Thanks for joining. And then thank you Dato' Anand, Michelle here. I saw Michelle already. Hello, Michelle. And then also Sharon for actually helping us to solve all the questions over here and present MM2H because for us, we really need the info because we do sometimes a lot of customers asking us this question. We also don't know how to answer also. So thanks a lot for today sharing session also. All right.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Bye bye.